Welcome to another video from Max Revs. I can't contain my excitement. Look at the cars that we've got here. We've got a GT4, we've got a GTS, both 4.0 engines, naturally aspirated, Gentian Blue. You know I love blue, I'm totally biased. These are the cars I'd probably buy if I had the money. This is going to be an awesome video. We've got both owners here. They're going to share their stories with us. The guy with the GT4 was going to get the GTS 4.0. The guy who got the GTS 4.0 is going to get the GT4. This is going to be a great one. And today's video is sponsored by no one, because I don't take sponsorship deals, unless you're Porsche, of course. Enjoying life and cars to the max.
Those hands and lights can't stop me. I'll just hold on for dear life.
But look at these cars in this glorious sunshine. 718 GT4 4.0 natural, and it's got the Club Sport. I just noticed that. Oh my god. Hello there, we are seated with these great cars behind us. Look at them, Gentian Blue 718 GT4, 4.0 GTS over there. We've got the owners here, we've got Tim over here, we've got Gary over here, and we're going to get into the story because I think this is amazing. Tim was going to buy the 4.0 GTS, switched at the last minute for the GT4, and you, Gary, you had the other story. You were going to get the GT4, switched for the 4.0. So how did you get into this car? Is it your first Porsche? You know, all that kind of good stuff. And yeah, what made you get the GT4?
Well, I had a Boxster S 986 about 10 years ago, probably 15 years ago actually, and did 84,000 miles in that. Always hankered on getting into another Porsche. Was looking at the GTS when I heard the announcement, which was great. Went and did all the shopping around to see who could supply me one, and then the GT4 came up, and thought, right, it's the right time, I'm going to do it now.
So it's quite a spontaneous decision. Like it wasn't like I'm always going to get a GT4. You were like, the GTS is for me, and then was it just a short little split decision at the end?
It was a short split decision, and I thought, well, you know, I've always bought not the halo car, if you like, not the top spec car, and I thought this time I'm going to do it. And
what kind of made you switch GTS? Because it's the same engine, but was it more like you wanted that presence, the feel?
Well, yeah, it was that sense of occasion. The GT4 for me is a weekend car, a weekend and trips car. Had it been something that I was going to use it more regularly during the week and what have you, maybe go to work or do your normal sort of weekly chores, going to shops or whatever, post lockdown, then perhaps the GTS I would have remained with the GTS. But I had the opportunity to go for the GT4 and have it for the reasons that I wanted it for, which was to use it for high days and holidays, really. So
how about you, Gary? I mean, you started off looking at the GT4, and then how did you get this one then?
Yeah, so had a Cayman before. Actually, had the 718S Cayman, so the 4-cylinder.
Okay.
And I had that car from new, so I got new Porsche buying history, which probably helped. So I guess for me, it just simply came down to when I heard that Porsche were going to put a 6-cylinder engine into the GT4. It was going to be a new engine, a 4-litre engine, so a brand new engine. I thought this is probably the last opportunity I'm going to get a naturally aspirated 6-cylinder engine in a Cayman. So I put my name down for a GT4, and then of course put my letter of intent into the dealership, and then of course they announced the GTS, which was a start of a bit of a process for me then about you know, GT4 versus GTS.
You went 4-cylinder, so but you obviously purchased that new. So did you go into that eyes open, knowing it was a 4-cylinder, or would you say that you hadn't really driven a 6-cylinder before?
So I hadn't driven a 6-cylinder before, and actually for anyone who has driven one for a long period of time, it's quite a different driving experience, because of course you've got all the torque from about 3,000 RPM, whereas in these cars, obviously any naturally aspirated car, you've got to push the revs a bit higher to get that kind of performance. So but I love the car. I think it gets a really sort of bad press, really.
I fully agree with you. When I was in the 4-cylinder 718 at Silverstone, 70th anniversary of Porsche, when they put the foot down, you really feel that low end torque. But I think, and I don't know, tell me if this is your opinion as well, these cars are more emotional purchases as well. So 6-cylinder versus 4-cylinder, we're not looking at an Excel spreadsheet and looking at a torque graph. It's the emotion and the story behind the car.
Definitely. And because it was probably going to be one of, if not the last opportunities, because there's lots of speculation at the moment about hybrid, about electric, and that inevitably is going to happen, isn't it?
Yeah, indeed.
At some point. So yeah, so for me it was one of the last, if not the last opportunity, and I guess ultimately just how I was planning to use the car, probably a little bit differently to Tim, probably do a bit more mileage, certainly a bit more sort of urban driving, speed bumps, etc.
Urban driving and GT4s don't go well together, do they? Using my scientific tool here, which is a 987 Cayman S sent in by Tom, so thank you, we're going to measure how many Porsche 987 Caymans clearance we have. 1 1/4 clearance for that on the 4.0 GTS. Let's just try and do that again. Not even one car's clearance, as you can see.
Yeah, so look, to be honest, for that reason, and the fact that the engine, apart from the mapping, obviously is the same, so you get that fantastic noise in the cabin, and that whole sort of emotional experience.
Actually, if I can just mention that one point, that people always bang about the noise. You know, when you're in the cabin of these cars, the engine sounds great because they duct in the noise. And you know what? Okay, so if you're outside the car, it may not sound as loud as the 981, but we're not outside the car. The driver's inside the cabin, and I think there's more of a growl. Yeah. It's definitely a different tone. Yeah.
Totally.
Morning. It's a shame you can't see it. We've got 2 horses drive by. This is a lovely neck of the woods. That's brilliant. Okay.
That's my sister-in-law.
Oh, okay, there you go. Okay.
On a new horse.
Oh, wow. You've got a new car, they've got a new horse.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
1 horsepower and 420 over there.
I think if I had a GT4, and I know, Tim, you've got a different view, but I think I'd be tempted to want to track it. I think almost certainly I'd want to do that. I'd probably be drawn into that sort of debate around in my head around depreciation, and actually that's never really been a motivation for me. I'm not I'm not buying it to try and sort of retain value as such. I really want to try and enjoy the car.
Would you both say you're happy with like the sound of the car?
Absolutely. I mean, I didn't have the 981. I've heard a 981 GT4, and it's loud, and you really notice it. But to be honest, because I've not owned one, I don't know what I'm missing. So it doesn't work.
Trust me, you guys have pretty much the best of the last generation, because I got my latest Porsche magazine when I had my car serviced, and there was one of the directors in there saying the 911 will not go completely electric, which I read as the next 911 could be hybrid. So therefore it may not be fully petrol. So this could be the last generation of.
Well, you think about it, Porsche, even with the 911 have reduced the size of the engine, put 2 turbos on it. So, they really are one of the. Well, I can't think of another manufacturer. They're making bigger, naturally aspirated 4-litre engines in their sports cars. So it's braver Porsche.
You guys are killing me, because I see in your cars now, they go, I want one. I want one of these cars, okay? And I just hope that when the time comes for me, because I'm going to come out straight and say this, if it was not for the finances, I'd buy a Gentian Blue. I mean, you've got to look at the paint colours. I'll try and do justice bringing the camera close here, because normally you see the cars in showrooms, but the blue's great. I think I've just been making so many excuses so I don't have to go and buy one. But Gentian Blue, great colour. Have I got the money? No. This video is going to be sponsored by. I need to get some sponsors so I can make more than that $1 a video. So let's look at the rear diffuser here on the 718 GT4. As you can see, both the cars have got the twin exhausts separated on the sides. Obviously, the 981 GT4 had it in the centre. As you can see, big scoop there for aero. One thing you may not realise, if we have a look at the GTS over here, you can actually see it's actually filled in that section over there, so it doesn't get the extra aero treatment, but I quite like that. Are these cars, you're looking to own them for like longish terms? So more, you're not thinking, right, I'll have it a couple of years and then move on.
I'm going to own mine as long as I can get in and out of the seats.
Oh, fantastic. Well, you can always get the buckets taken out and you can put the other seats in.
But I am, seriously, I'm for me, it was my opportunity to buy, the top model in the range, and for me to keep it and know that I've done it and got it.
And in terms of seating, was there anything you had in mind? You've just got the sports seats, haven't you? Yeah,
just the standard sports seats, which are great. Hopefully at some point we'll get back to some sort of normality and getting back to work. Occasionally I'll drive to work. Be a lot easier getting in and out of a standard seat than a bucket seat if you're in your work gear. But that's what I went for. And similar to Tim, I think it's definitely a car that I'm planning on keeping a good few years. I don't know how many years. For that reason, obviously, as Tim did as well, went for the PPF.
Yeah.
So and a full PPF as well. So that it's just that little bit of peace of mind of if you do pick up the odd stone chip, it's not going to, you know.
Yeah.
It's not going to ruin your day.
Exactly.
It's not going to ruin your week. It'll ruin your day.
Yeah.
So what Gary doesn't know, we kind of reached out, you know, prior to meeting, even prior to the PPF being fitted, but Gary doesn't know this, but I got him to fully PPF the car because I'm going to buy it off him later on, okay? So I get the choice of either one of these cars, both fully PPF at the same place. Really, and I love, you know, they're kind of, the owner's a bit like me, so the attention to detail is a little bit obsessive, but I think that's great. So I get first dibs, yeah?
Yeah, that's fine.
Fantastic.
Yeah, I can't give up this feeling that I get when looking down from the sky. Now